trying to understand your business model mix. What % are you looking to do with respect to kind of product sponsors versus advertising? And what % of the business do you look targeted at moms' households versus affinity groups like March of Dimes?
Well, product sponsorships is certainly a level of our business model. Different areas of the site, like the photos, for example, lend themselves clearly to particular sponsors. Plated Pavilion might be sponsored by Juicy Juice or a minivan. Percentage-wise, though, that would probably be about 20%. The balance at launch initially would be, ad page impression generated.
And in terms of target customer, percent mix of business that would accrue from affinity groups like March of Dimes versus households?
Well, initially we're working with the affinity groups to sort of, it's not the build it, they will come scenario. It's sort of the build it, find them, get them, and then they'll bring other people to come. And we're going with the national groups because, a lot of, I won't mention any national brands that we're talking to right now, but you see it, everybody's creating some sort of social community for their brand or their whatever it is they're offering. For a parent, I'm only going to speak on behalf of parents, it could be true for everybody, but for a mom, eventually, if they're involved in this national play group and they're involved in this school and they're involved in, maybe they like this brand, they're not going to be able to jump from site to site to site. And it's not necessarily about aggregating all that content, it's about aggregating what matters to the mom and keeping it all connected for them. So the national organizations are important, but I think that, again, once moms get their hands on this, they're going to pass it around.
Well, the reason I ask is in the affinity groups, depending on what concentration you have, that business model could be sponsorships, subscription. So a subscription model is very different than the mom household model, which is more advertising and product-based.
Right. And
yet, if you're focused on that, there's issues with privacy. In the state of California, for instance, because they try to do this with our own schools, try to create some kind of connection like this, and it just isn't allowed. They have to have a closed system because of privacy rules in the state of California and other states. So I was trying to understand where your focus was vis-a-vis your business model, vis-a-vis how you get around some hurdles within that market.
Well, it's a very closed system, and you have to be invited. It's very secure. It's not something you can't just go on and it's odd, but we have the pedophile discussion all the time in our roundtable meetings. Who would approach this, and what could they do? And we have guys on our team that really can kind of think, and not that way, but the technical way. So there's that.
Have you done it with a public school?
We're actually talking to a school district that is looking in the fall to adopt this, and they're very interested in it. Yes. And I'm sorry, the other part of your question escapes me. Maybe there wasn't one. I'm just trying to throw you off.
Looks like a great tool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I liked the UI. It seemed like even with the online video, you could get it immediately. I think the concern I would have is what's to prevent folks like Yahoo or Google, to tweak their services and their homepages to do something like this. What's your competitive protection?
Well, there's always that possibility. Nothing here is really proprietary. I'm sorry I said that. But obviously moms were slanting in that direction. We have a design that sort of appeals to moms, and I would use this as a parent. But my point is that moms are, for the most part, and I don't mean to generalize them, they're very sort of lifestyle oriented, and they have a particular identity thing going on. And I think that if you give them that platform and you give them that identity and you make it about them, this is focused on them. It's not just like, moms.yahoo.com. This is for them. And it's built, by moms, and not literally, but we spend a lot of time talking to them. And that's our focus. And our mission is to make their lives easier. And I think that will help us stand out. I also think that, again, my wife is not going to be omnipresent on the site. As I mentioned, she has a brand, but we're going to be very brand agnostic here, where you'll never see her brand on the site. She's going to be there for PR and launch and things like that. But she has a good appeal to new moms that are coming into the market, which I think is great. I think that when someone's expecting for the first time, they're either looking at the medical, technical information, and they'll go to Baby Center for that, obviously. But they're also looking for all the touchy-feely fun stuff of getting their life ready, and Wendy is really good in that space.
We've got time for a question from the audience. Thank you.
So how is it to integrate sort of some existing, maybe more vertical types of things that are like this? So like links to Evite, links to greatschools.com.
Yes.
Even a LinkedIn, stuff where you might already have a lot of this going on that you want to kind of consolidate here.
Absolutely, that's definitely in the future for us. There's that aspect, and there's also the aspect of, again, aggregating what our audience wants, and knowing your audience. Obviously, this is meant to maybe double as a homepage if they choose to do that. We have a thing called, those little things are called nests.
Right.
And we have a nest library in there. And we're talking to major media providers to bring in all types of content that's not just an RSS feed, that's really rich and robust, and mom can really easily, and that's the key. You got to make it easy for them to.
As a quick follow-on, the scenario I see in my head is, parent in the SUV, Garmin in one hand, phone in the other. What's your mobile?
Oh, there's
thoughts on mobile?
certainly a mobile element to this. Again, we only have 6 minutes, and I'm sorry, I should include that for
That was
you.
my next question.
Yeah, it's all there. We have a code, what's it called?
Sure.
Okay, we have a short code. And we actually, it's intended, one, they can get reminders. So, a parent's worst fear, and there's a lot of parents in the audience, it's actually two things. One is to forget to pick up your kids. Two is to not feel like the worst parent in the world. And there are little things that could do that. There could be a project at school and you forget a toilet paper roll and your kid can't do the project. You feel like the worst parent in the world. You feel like a total idiot. So you can set text reminders for all these little things. You can get a morning text reminder when you wake up at specifically the time you're about to go and pack your kid's lunchbox, that there's something special that needs to go in there. And in the reverse of that, and this happens to me all the time from my own experiences, I'll drop my kids off at school and 3 little kids will come up and go, "Can Cecilia play?" And I'm like, "Okay, who are you?" And I can text that to Nesting, and that message will be waiting for me the next time I log on. And I can integrate that very easily to everything else that's going on.
Okay, I think that's it. Joe, beautiful job.
All right.